So, Valentine's Day yesterday, and you know what? My wife called me a sex machine. Well, actually, she called me a fucking tool, but I knew exactly what she meant. She said, you know, I can see myself in a Jaguar. And I said, I doubt we'd find one that hungry. Anyway.
Should have finished up first.
Nobody say anything.
Okay.
He goes away after.
Don't look at him in the eye.
Stop it. Don't look him in the eye.
You know, speaking of
just
Jaguars...
if you have a look at him, look at him with disappointment. Okay? Just do that. All right?
Speaking of Jaguars, do you know, and animals in general, do you know what the difference is between a Zippo and a hippo? Well, it's quite clear, because one's a little lighter. Oh, come on.
Oh.
Come on. Thank you, Jim. I knew I'd break one of you. Anyway, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Black Dog, episode 121. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
I'm Elton.
And this week, we'll be seeing how everyone's week's been. We might just be having a little bit of feedback on Landmine Goes Click from last week, though everyone seemed to say all their stuff before we actually reviewed the film, so maybe we won't. And then we're on to this week's movie, which was supposed to be the cheerful palate cleanser, which was Darren's choice, which was... Darren?
The Banshees of that place.
Ed Sheeran.
That's it, yeah, the Banshees of Ed Sheeran.
The drum kit of Ed Sheeran.
The bandsaws of Ed Sheeran, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Or the bed saws. The bed
welcome
saws.
to my workshop.
Yeah.
The bed saws of Ed Sheeran.
This is going to be like the
Hello, I'm Ed Sheeran. I haven't got out of bed for 4 weeks. Let's have a look at the state of my legs. I wasn't expecting that.
I'm in love with the
Somebody
shape
called
of
an
you.
ambulance.
Yeah, Shape of You was actually a song created because of his love of the memory foam in his bed. Anyway.
Was it?
I'm in love with your body.
If you listen to it, last night you were in my room and my bed sheets smell like you. Smell them fucking wash him, you disgusting ginger troll. Anyway, right. Well, we'll get onto that anyway. The Banshees of Inisherin a bit further on down the podcast time. So let's find out how everyone's week's been. We'll start with you, Jim. How's it been, sir?
Strange, I think.
Yeah, okay.
The overwhelming vibe. So last Thursday I had my first chemo session.
Mm. Yeah.
Which I will explain for purposes of clarity. I mean, it is basically a simple process. It is, there are different varieties, but the most common one, which basically you just have a little cannula in the back of your hand and you're attached to a drip.
Right. And
they first put in some warm water to make sure everything's working properly.
Mm-hmm.
Then into that you get an anti-nausea drug.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put the radioactive stuff in. And
nice.
You just basically sit there with your hand on a pillow and amuse yourself until the machine goes beep.
I can do that in my front room.
Yeah. Only with one hand, though. Only with one hand. Nice. You should pick your hand carefully.
I don't hear the Pornhub.
No, I did the Sid, but hold on.
Thank you.
It's Pavlov's dog, isn't it?
It is Pavlov's dog, yeah. Hold on. So, I've just... Yeah, go on. Go on, carry on, Jim. Anyway, go on. I was going to say something, but... No,
Schrodinger's wank. Sorry. I don't know
Stop
where
it.
that came from. Is he or isn't he? Who knows?
That's Schrodinger's blanket. Quickly,
yes.
get the blanket.
Show Dinkles wank.
Hold on. This is taking a very dark turn for someone who's having chemo. Can we?
Yes, there are other people in them. I'll point that out. So,
yeah.
I'm generally as always with my experience with cancer, I'm usually the youngest person there by a long chalk.
Yes.
People, what are you doing in here? I'm poorly. Shut up. But so I mean, the first one I actually had 2 doses. One takes an hour to go in. Then you have like another flush, and then hook you up for another one that was half an hour, and then flush again to make sure everything's okay, and then you're free to go. And given more pills to take, so steroids and anti-nausea tablets.
Great.
And they do warn you there's a lot of reactions you can have to this treatment.
Yeah.
I'd read of. I mean, she'd gone through all the ones to look out for and common ones and stuff. Me being me, I rolled the Commodore result on the side effect table.
Go on.
Hiccups.
Hiccups?
Yeah, the thing is, it wasn't, from what I can work out, it isn't actually a reaction to the chemo. That's a side effect from one of the anti-nausea drugs.
Right.
It didn't kick in straight. It was the day after lunchtime. And literally, I just had one of the, you have a course of like 3 days of these anti-nausea tablets. I took the first one. Half an hour later, started hiccuping. That's quite funny. An hour later, not quite so funny when you can't stop.
Oh, God.
And eventually they did stop about 1 o'clock Sunday night.
Holy crap.
Yep. With brief moments of respite. I mean, I tried literally every trick in the book. I was looking for cures for hiccups. And a lot of them do actually work. And the old holding your breath one never works. That's bollocks. Forget that. That's right out.
Yeah.
Controlled breathing to get your diaphragm back into the lungs, that is better.
Yep.
However, 2 I found online that sound mad, but do work. Is one, sucking on a lemon and sipping vinegar. And both of those actually stop them for about an hour.
Yeah, but then the heartburn is a killer.
Well, you know, when you've been hiccuping for 3 hours, heartburn, you've got it already. So,
oh, right, okay,
you're good, really. But the problem is, because it's a chemical reaction to a drug, it means to just start up again. Unlike ordinary hiccups that would just stop.
Oh, God.
So I'll be talking to. I'm going in tomorrow. I get 1 dose, which is half an hour, because it works. 1 week you get two different concoctions. The week after you get 1. Next week I don't go in at all.
Right.
And then that's 1 cycle, 3 weeks.
Right.
And then I do that another 3 times and I'm done.
Okay.
But yeah, so I will be sort of mentioning going, did have some side effects. But I mean, other than that, I did have a bit of a funny tummy, but nothing too bad. But it was actually Monday I actually hit the fatigue.
Oh, right.
And now I was thinking, I might be able to dodge this because I'm quite in fairly decent shape. But actually, it's like more than 9 out of 10 people get chemo fatigue.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a tough one to dodge, and it is really strange, because it's not like you've been badly slept and you're dog tired and you're sleepy.
Yeah. It's
not like you've sort of been, I don't know, doing hard manual work or physical labor and you're absolutely bone tired and weary. It's more like you feel all right and then you sort of walk in this wall of fog.
Oh, right.
And it is kind of like, what, eh? As if you're very, just sort of like being very drunk without being drunk.
Right.
And sometimes you can push through it and you're fine. But other times you find in that wall of fog, there's a brick wall you just walked into. It is kind of almost like cartoon sort of doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, I've just walked into a brick wall of tired. I am literally seeing the stars and Tweety birds, and I think I'm just going to sit here for a bit now.
Right.
I didn't think I was sleepy, but actually I'm just going to have a very deep nap right this second. It's very, very odd. To say it's not, because it's chemical, it's not your usual tiredness. That's the thing.
So you just 1 minute you're awake and next minute you just go donk and off.
Well, it's more like a gradual process. Suddenly you just need to suddenly wind down, and everything's kind of like, where am I? What am I doing? Oh, Jesus, I don't feel I don't think I'm going to sit down.
Darren,
I mean,
you never told me you were on chemo for the first 10 years of this podcast.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to keep it quiet. I didn't want anybody to know. So,
Sorry, anyway. Go carry on, Jim. Sorry.
Yeah. But I mean, as it goes, I mean, it's not that isn't the worst thing. If I can get some tweak to the medication or get hiccups for 2 days, that'll be good. But as my consultant said, with the fatigue, if it means you have to sit down in a comfy chair, is that so bad?
Yeah.
And it isn't really.
No.
I mean, like yesterday, I'd done a bit of work, and it just started creeping up to me, and I sort of went downstairs, sat down on the sofa. Tallulah came up, sat next to me, put her head on my arm, and we both had a snooze together, and that was
nice.
So
sounds ideal.
Yeah. Then woke up and ordered a takeaway for Valentine's Day. It's like, yep, brilliant. That's me sorted.
Wow, nice work.
So that swing. It's hiccups are weird side effects, but it's better than say shitting yourself for days on end.
Yeah.
So it's swings and roundabouts.
yeah.
Plus, you got to legitimately sleep through Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It's good work. I you're going to turn up in one of those adverts you see at the bottom of websites, which says, 8 out of 10 florists hate this secret. Picture of you, just kind of a kip in the middle of the Valentine's Day calendar right behind you.
Yeah, so it is very strange. It is kind of so. I don't know, a tiredness I've never experienced before, but I can roll with it. So they say the first one is a good indicator of subsequent side effects, and by some accounts, the first one is sometimes a bit more severe because it's a shock to the system. So so we'll see how we go, but it's it's different and interesting.
Different and interesting. In that Chinese curse of "May you live in interesting times." Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Just one question though. You had all that radiation and everything. When you walked out the actual hospital, did this play? I just wondered if you just wandered down the street being pursued by an investigative journalist.
Yeah, does the name Jack McGee mean anything to you?
Well, that's a disappointing thing, really. So. I'll say it is just a plastic bag and a tube. You don't get to sit in a fancy chair with green lights and a headset and swivel round or any of that. However, I do have radiotherapy to come, which I understand is a bit more like that after I've done the chemo. So
nice.
We live in hope. We live in hope of getting some cosmic rays.
Get some cosmic rays and just standing up. That's the problem, Cap. I'm always angry. Wallop.
Well, radio's the fantastic machine that you have to sit in, isn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, you take a photo of it. You will not regret taking a photo of it, honestly.
Yeah. That's as long as they haven't got it on, because the radiation blasting out of that thing will probably destroy the sensor on your phone. But
I'm not telling him to take his phone in. I'm sure they will take that off of him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hang on, sir. Where were you concealing that phone?
Yeah. Or if you like just seeing a huge cloud of static as all the particles of radiation smash through the lens, by all means, take a photo. All the metal just flying out to the edge. Dink. Nice. Anything else, sir?
No, so I'll leave that at that. I think.
Okie dokie. Well, then we'll leave it at that. Then we'll leave Bruce Bannon to his wandering, and we'll move on to you, Elton. How's your week been, sir?
It's been pretty quiet, but I've been watching lots of things which carry over from last week, which I forgot to say. If you don't mind.
No, you go right ahead. It's all content.
Okay. Well, the first thing that nobody will be interested in is I watched a program called Road to Le Mans.
Okay.
But this is following Michael Fassbinder and his journey over 4 years to get into Le Mans. And
what has he just been queuing up?
Yes, he's just been queuing up. He went to the burger stall and then realised he lost his place, so then he had to start again. That's why it's taken 4 years.
That's a long time to sit in a cheap deck chair. I'll tell you, that really is.
But what I'm realizing is I've never really heard his real voice up until this show.
Yeah,
No.
it's sort of slightly, it's kind of
Irish.
slightly Irish. He's an Irish brogue, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
Mm.
cool. But I started watching it and I was like, oh, that's what he sounds like. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I've never heard his real voice up until this moment. But it's really good. It's really nice to follow him on that. Seems like a pleasant gentleman, but man, is he clumsy in driving. But
Yeah.
it's really good if you like that sort of thing. If you don't, let's move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Next thing is... I won't talk about that one. The Wall. Thank you, Darren. You introduced me to The Wall.
Is that the TV show with Danny Dyer?
No, it's not. No, not that one. No.
Pink
When
Floyd?
we were in the pub, Darren leant over to me and went, "You should watch this film. It's really good."
Oh,
went,
that's
okay.
a bad move.
I know.
You
But
should never
I
do
went with
that.
it anyway. And it's got John Cena in it.
Right.
Oh, that Wall. Sorry,
There
I'm
you
thinking.
go.
When did I tell him to go watch Pink Floyd's The Wall? I'm thinking I don't remember John Cena being like there with Roger Waters and stuff like that.
No,
or,
he's right.
fucking,
Bob Geldof.
Dingy, what's his face? Bob Geldof. That's it.
Yeah, Bob Geldof.
Don't remember that at all. No, you had me. I really was confused there. I'm
Yeah.
like, The Wall. When did I say watch The Wall?
You
And it's
remember
that
now,
Wall.
though, don't you? Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
It's
yes,
not too
yeah.
bad. It's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I would lump it in with a fair few films, which would be an interesting season.
Mm.
Yeah, The Phone Booth is another one.
Phone Booth, Buried,
Yeah.
and The Wall, and something else.
Oh, right. So bottle episodes stuck in one place.
Yep.
So is he bricked into a wall? Is he
Yes,
actually
it's a
bricked
man made
Yeah.
of wall.
up? It's a man bricked up.
He's not been looking where he's doing. He's kind of, painted himself into a corner, as it were. Oh, shit.
His name is Barry
I
Mortar.
built it. I'm on the wrong side of it. Oh.
Fred
I'm supposed to be on the other
Insulation
side.
didn't
Oh.
know that he was going to be a part of the wall. Fred-
Joe Cavity is the wall.
No. Philip
Phil
McCavity.
McCavity,
Phil
innit?
McCavity, yeah.
Bend over. Yeah.
Phil
Phil
McCavity.
McCavity and bend over.
Anyway, yeah, so that was all right, but I would lump it in with other films.
Stone cladding is on the wall.
Pebble, Dashing.
He knew his future. It was on the wall. No? Okay.
Randor is the wall.
Walls. They don't only make sausages.
Painting. Anyway.
What else did I watch? Barbarian.
Oh, yeah. Go on then.
Anyone else
I was
seen
going to
this
watch
yet?
that this weekend.
Oh,
We were
yes.
going to watch that along with the other film that I watched this week. But,
So,
we never got round to it.
Okay, is this now? I haven't seen it. I've intended to put it on the docket a couple of times, but I never got round to it. Now I've taken on the Shipfinder General hat. I probably won't be the one picking it anymore.
You don't have to take that hat on.
I
it's
do.
fine. You
I
can
do.
put good films on.
Maybe I will when I'm feeling generous, or maybe if I land on April Fool's Day or something.
Never happening.
No, but sometimes you just got to balance these things out. But is that the one with the world's worst Airbnb, from what I understand?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know.
Now, I'm very reluctant to go into this, but I just wanted to mention that I'd seen it and enjoyed it.
It's a very squeaky voice you use
Yeah.
there, so I'm guessing that's I shouldn't. You can't. How can you feel comfortable saying I enjoyed this?
Mhm.
I enjoyed watching this. These sets of events unfolding before me because it just sounds wrong.
Can I ask a question? Did it have a roast potato scale?
No, not one bit.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll take it as a maybe. Either that or you're having some mad bowel movement.
Are you actually transmitting from the toilet?
It's been nearly 10 years since Foxy did that. Went to the toilet with his headphones on.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yes.
Just for Man of Steel. Let's not go back there.
Yeah.
So go on and carry on.
Well, I don't want to give anything away. If I say what I really truly believe in it, then I will give something away. It's one of the
very
things...
difficult to talk about this movie, say anything really, because without letting a cat out of the bag.
Right.
It is a film of thirds. I'm going to leave it there.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Thirds.
Thirds, yes.
Yeah. As in Act 1,
First
Act 2, and Act 3.
Middle act, third act, whatever it is.
3-act structure. That's most films, isn't it?
I know, but these are...
Just leave it, it's 3, all right?
Yeah.
Just remember 3.
3 is the magic number, is it?
Yeah.
As Della Soul once said. Right, okay. I'll take that as a recommendation.
I think we should all watch it at some point, definitely.
Right, okay.
It would be I think it would be a very interesting conversation to have on that.
Okay. Well, why not? Let's stick that on the list. It's not on my list. I'm not putting it on. I've got my one lined up.
Yeah. But
You're not going to thank me for it, but
there is a film that I thought of immediately after this movie, and if I say that film, that will give away what I'm thinking about that film. But when we come to review it, I will mention it then.
Right.
And you will understand why I'm not mentioning it now, because it will ruin it.
Okay. Right. Good.
Basically, I watched the film. I can't talk about it. Let's move on.
Okay, well, carry on.
One last thing then. I've started watching a program on Netflix called Physical 100.
Right. And
it is a program in a foreign language. I'm not going to say what country it is, just in case I offend people.
Right.
But it's basically 100 people of physical, peak physical bodies, and they look amazing, okay? But they come from all walks of life. You have gymnastic people, you have people that make zombie movies and move around like zombies and have like body morphing weird movements.
Right.
You have sports people, you have lacrosse people, you have just gymnasts.
Yeah.
But they're all peak performance people. And then you have car dealers, which rock up. They are huge people walking around. It is well worth watching it just for the voiceover. The voiceover is either 100 people doing each of their voices, or there's one person doing all of their voices. And I still haven't worked out what it is yet.
Oh, is it like a Eurotrash kind of affair? Or it's kind of going, oh, hello, lad.
I think it's from Korea.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh,
but
Darren's gone away.
It's entertaining. It has that thing where it replays moments again and again and again, though, like Gladiator would.
Right.
On the Gladiator TV, where someone would knock someone over with a pugil stick and be like, oh! Right. And then they'll repeat it again. And then after the break, they'll repeat it 3 or 4 times again. Right. It has that. So there is a lot of filler there. But the voiceover makes up for that. I find it terribly amusing. It is brilliant, and I'm loving it.
Right. Okay. So, cool. And where's that on? That's Netflix,
That's on Netflix, yeah.
Okay. What's their prize? What are they actually aiming for?
They are aiming for, I think it's about £200,000 converted. And what they do is they whittle down from 100 of these people, and they start off all fighting for themselves. They hang from these bars and they drop off in sequence, and the last people that drop off then get to pick who they fight in the next round.
Oh, I've seen this. It's Squid Game, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh,
It's like Squid Game, but real life.
Oh, I have seen the trailer of this. A load of shall we say Asian people hanging off of a rail, and there's loads of fog below them, and
Yeah,
they're
that's it, yeah.
and they're going, "Oh, I was really scared. I didn't know what was down there," and
Yeah.
all this sort of thing. And then all of a sudden, you'll see them sort of fall off, and you hear splashing,
Yeah.
and then it's like there's one of the ladies is hanging on, going, "Oh my life, I don't know if I can hang on much longer," and they all sound like.
Are you the voiceover person?
Yeah, I think I am actually. It was a weird job. I just got a load of lines to read. I thought I was doing Thomas the Tank Engine, the Next Generation, but apparently not. Anyway, yes. So
But yes, it is that program, and I'm really enjoying it. And but it is worth it just for the voiceover.
okay, cool. Okay, that sounds good then. Because I was wondering when that was going to come on, but I thought it was going to be called Squid Game Live or something. But
No, it's called Physical 100.
Physical 100. Okay, cool, for copyright reasons, presumably. But yeah, cool.
Probably, yeah.
Did you watch anything else, sir?
No, that's it. That's I am topped up now.
You are topped up. Okie dokie. Well, then, in which case, we shall move on to Mr. B. Mr. Barnard, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good. I had something quite unusual happen just outside my flat last night. There was a bit of a ruckus.
It's not a Chinese. It's not a Chinese spy balloon, is it?
No.
It seems to be turning up everywhere.
It sounded like I'm pretty sure it was teenagers, because like when teenagers who are just sort of like hitting puberty, when they scream and they just go a little bit too hard, like you're just trying a little bit too hard to sound like you're really, really, really angry now, aren't you? It was like that. But then I had a girl screaming at this person, called out their name. I looked out the window to see what was going on, switched all the lights off first, thought, right, just check this out, something sounds like it's really kicking off here. Looked out the window, and the girl is on the floor not moving, and her mate is over the top of her. And it's like, oh shit, what the fuck? I didn't hear anybody hit anybody or anything like this, but she was on the ground there. I thought she'd Sparko dead, whatever. Then she started moving. She got up and she started going on about her eye. She couldn't see out of her eye. I called the police, got them involved, and they turned up. And I never got to find out whether they managed to track them down or not. Gross. But they did. They had about 3 or 4 cars looking for him in the area. It was just like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, so that was just like, this is not how I expected Valentine's Day to end. So thanks for that. Cheers. There you go. But,
no, don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah. On a lighter note, I've me and Ree started watching Angel again.
Oh yeah.
We dipped into season 5 because I've never seen season 5.
Oh, that's
so just
one of the
started
best
playing.
ones. So why have you jumped straight to that?
Just because it was something to watch. And we were actually only put 1 episode on, but then we sat there, just sitting there, going through episodes, just watching more and more.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. The fact that James Masters is back in it again, the dynamic between him and Angel is just brilliant. Spike being back in it as a ghost. Or what you think is a ghost anyway. Angel just can't get rid of him. That's it. So he's constantly taking the piss out of Angel, and it's like, turning up in his bedroom, making comments, stuff like that. So it's been, I didn't know it was that funny. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Love that. I wish I'd seen that when it first came out. So I'm going to go back through the series now.
Yeah, you need to go back a couple of seasons because there's one where they go to an alternate universe or a universe where was it Lorne, the lounge singer?
Yes, his home dimension.
His home dimension.
It's also where Wolfram and Hart have a stronghold as well.
Exactly, and there's the whole thing of Ragnar do the dance of joy, Ragnar do the dance of sadness, which is hilarious.
I think season 4 is also one that I've missed out on. But where I got up to in Angel was where you had, I think it was the Witchfinder General gets reborn and comes back and is hunting Angel down.
Mm.
It's that guy who's, terrorizing him as he goes on. He gets brought back somehow. I can't remember how.
Mm.
But no, season 5, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. So, which nicely, matches up with that Spike thing that I went to see a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So, that's good. So
nice.
There was that. And the other thing I watched this week was a film that I know the rest of us here have all seen, and that's The Menu, or as you so rightly put it, and I love this, Voldemort's Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
Lord Voldemort's Kitchen Nightmares. And I just kept thinking that while I was watching it, basically. But without giving too much away, it's for anybody that hasn't seen it, it's all about a restaurant that's on an island, and that's literally the only thing that's on there. And it's quite an exclusive restaurant with very rich people going there and eating. And things take a bit of a right turn, and I think that's a real English way of describing what goes on. Yeah,
I think is the precise term.
just a bit. I've got to say, I really like Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's great. Everything I've seen her in, I've not been disappointed at all. Especially things like last night in Soho. What a fantastic film that was. She was great in that, and she's really good in this as well. And Nicholas Hoult as well. Just fuck.
Troy's bullshit.
Seriously, mate.
Troy's bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Just one of the best characters in that film, Nicholas Hoult. Just for the, for the way that he literally ignores everything that goes on, and is there for the food. So, yeah. Wow. But we both sat there thinking, what do we feel about this after this?
Yeah.
I did like the resolution of it. I liked how that was worked out. Made a lot of sense. I think I'm still reeling a little bit from the whole experience because it's a lot.
Yeah, it does take a bit to sort of process. It's not.
It is Black Mirror the movie.
Oh, and then
that's it. Really, I would say. If we're going to class it as anything, I'd say it was something a bit like that. It's really quite dark, comically dark, in a lot of places.
Yes. I do want to say so many things, but I can't.
No, that's fine.
No.
Maybe we'll get that on the docket and watch that.
I think it might not be a bad idea, but we have all seen it, but it'd be quite interesting to talk about it. I must admit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just paused for a second because I have just been handed a glass of red wine. Ladies and gentlemen, the party has begun. Anyway, sorry about that. Jammy Red Roux, very nice. Not sponsored, unfortunately, but there you go. Yeah, so cool. So you watched that. That's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
It is. We were going to watch Barbarian as well. We were going to go and do basically do those two, and of course the film we were going to watch this week. Sort of like a little trilogy of movies.
Misery.
But unfortunately, we didn't get round to seeing Barbarian.
I was just disappointed there wasn't. I looked at the poster for Barbarian and there wasn't a picture of Maria Whitaker holding a sword in a chainmail bikini. One for you retro gamers back there.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
There is that, but what about? Is there no love for Wolf? Come on, man.
No,
no love for Wolf.
I've told my Wolf story once before. I won't say it again now that it's been taken off the air.
Where that game's concerned, am I the only one or the only move that you did was the head chop?
Oh yeah,
because that was it. The flying head chop.
But only a fool would walk forward. You know, because the other bloke could walk straight into you with a flying head chop, and that'd be the end of it. If nobody knows what we're talking about, go back to 1983 and look up Barbarian on the Commodore 64.
You jump in that DeLorean. You get going.
You get the fuck on. It also came with a poster that was very informative for a young lad like myself.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Whew. Sorry, I shouldn't have drunk that as quickly as I did. Well, there you go.
Back to the village.
Back to the village. Back to the village. Oh my God! No, don't remind me of that again, Jim. The village in Shortlands. Oh my blessed hallowed home.
Oh God, the village. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, raid over Moscow.
Oh.
Great space race. Tripods.
Sitting there listening.
No, not tripods. We didn't get tripods from there.
No, we didn't. No, we got that from your local newsagents around the corner, where we also bought thrust.
That was it.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so yes. Anything else, sir? Sorry, has it got any?
No, that's it.
Okie dokie. Cool.
That's just about it.
Yeah. Sorry. Before I disappeared down a massive. Oh, I remember back in the day, kind of rabbit hole.
Back in the day.
Sorry, I'm doing the voiceover for Physical 500 or whatever it is. I'm sorry, I'm just happening to be hanging about here. I'm just a normal teenage girl looking to find my way in this competition there, like. Right, well, then in which case, my week, let's do the media stuff. I mean, obviously, Last of Us carries on. Dropped early, didn't it? That was nice.
Yes, it did. That was good.
Very nice. Gave me horrible flashbacks to a scene that I actually played 100 times because I wasn't quick enough on the fucking sniper and kept jamming. But anyway, that's to do more with the game than the actual show. The show was very good, and creepy kids climbing through car windows is really not. Yeah, I think I found a new thing to absolutely hate ever seeing ever again in my entire life. What else? Started watching Wednesday on Netflix. Finally.
Oh yes.
Yes. I've kind of deliberately tried to steer away from it because hype and shit. Again, one of those, you have an opinion during a certain time frame and everyone goes, "Ooh, you've got an opinion that differs from the collective. You must be cast out." So I tend to steer away from it. But I'm quite enjoying it. As long as you don't treat it as an actual Addams Family thing, I think you're fine. And I think what really sort of cemented it for me was that Alfred Goff and Mark Miller, is it? Anyway, Goff and Miller, who basically created Smallville, are the showrunners on this. And as soon as I heard that, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, now I know. This has got as much to do with the Addams Family as Smallville's got to do with Superman. In other words, there's nods, there's winks, there's certain character traits and beats, but beyond that, it might as well have just been a show that we wrote and then we got hold of an IP and just pasted it like wallpaper over the top of the show. I quite like it though. I'm quite enjoying it for what it is, sort of teen detective mystery thriller thing. So it's quite, and it has a couple of nice little moments, and Jenny Ortega just seems to have these eyes which are just, I don't know if they're digitally enhanced or what, but there's something really kind of like you're sitting there, kind of like just I can't look away. Those eyes are looking at me, sort of thing.
Can I ask, by the way, right? Because I don't know if I'm the only person that actually felt this when I watched the show. Could you imagine everything she said being said in the voice of Kevin Conroy doing Batman? Because I could. Everything she says is like, that's a Batman line, right? That shit could be, you could put that in the animated Batman series and you'll be like, yep, that's fine, that's acceptable.
I didn't think of it like that, but I've still got 2 episodes to go, so I will take a look at it from that point onwards. Because I'm going to watch the last 2 episodes this week, tomorrow and the day after. But no, it's okay. It's fine. I think there's certain things that as far as if you like the Addams Family movies or the comics, there's certain things it does which I think fly right in the face of that in quite a significant way, in the terms of like the interacting between the family members. And that just seems to be that's where I kind of get the feeling it's just a teen drama detective thing just pasted over the top, and then someone's just gone, oh, we got the Addams Family rights, brilliant, let's just slap that over the top of it. So that's probably my only criticism on it at the moment. Next thing, we've got the carpet.
Hey.
We have the carpet. It's my floor is no longer that horrible 1970s coral pink. It is now year 2000 carpet shop grey. So
how's them Artex walls doing you?
Oh no,
right?
Yeah. That was one of the first bits of decoration I did in this house, because we moved in and the walls were this kind of weird, insipid sort of tobacco orangey yellow. You know, and it couldn't have said I'm from the 1970s harder if it had the words Crossroads Motel written along the side of the wall, and wood paneling on the walls. You remember wood paneling used to be on the wall?
I remember wood paneling.
Yeah, used to have that in my mum and dad's house.
Yeah, and infinity mirror drinks cabinets and stuff like that with a bottle of Pernod in the corner. But anyway, so we got the carpet, which is good because that leads to my next bit, which is Old Man Fall. Old Man Fall. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I did an old man thing. I was kind of like, okay, we're going to get a new carpet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and move all the furniture and all that kind of stuff, because we got a big sofa and it's not easy to get around, so we have to sort of move it to one end of the room and then put the carpet down and move it to the other end and whatever. But also, we've got a slight problem with damp if there's like no air gap between the wall and a piece of furniture. Easy solved. You just move it away, treat it, let it dry, and then come back in like 12 months and it'll just be slightly back again. Anyway, so I'm doing that and I'm like, right, okay, and I've got me sort of like, you know, I'm all geared up. I'm all tooled up with all me cleaning stuff. And I thought, okay, and I've gone round and I've done the walls and I've wiped certain little bits out, and I'm thinking, oh, look at that. There's that smell of that tinge of sort of bleach just taking care of things, and you're thinking, okay, fine, that'll calm down. It's all lovely. But then what I've done is I've gone into the hallway and I've gone, right, job's done, well done, turned all the lights off, put all the gear down on the side, turned the lights off, put my foot on the step on the stairs, and I've gone over like a sack of spuds. I went down like an old bloke. You know when you see those kind of like those ones with the alarm, the sort of rescue me alarm for old people, those adverts where they sort of fall in slow motion and then fall
Gerald
and fall.
fell over on Saturday.
Yeah. Luckily, Securiguard was able to rescue her and open the door using the buttons. No, this safety thing around his necklace saved him from being killed.
And if you sign up to a staircase, you get a free pocket pen.
Exactly. And I literally went straight down on one knee and then went down 4 steps on that same knee. All my weight, everything, in the dark, no idea what I'm doing. And I just went dum 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 dum. And it was like Peter Griffin from Family Guy. I just literally sat there for about 2 minutes going, And now I've got a bruise that's about 3 foot long along the edge of my shin, and I'm hobbling like some old bastard. It has finally happened. It has finally happened. I've actually fallen down the stairs and I can't get up. Help me, mother. Carol came down the stairs like, what the fuck's happened? You know, Lisa came out the other room and it's like, what's happened? And it's like, there's me on the stairs going, ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
Every phone call from now on that Carol has is, Lee's had a fall.
Lee's had a fall, exactly. Lee's had a fall.
Yeah. Don't forget to keep the alarm around your neck.
That's
the
right.
Big button on the front.
Now what do?
Yes,
we keep the lights on until we get to the top of the stairs, don't we? Yeah,
I'm going out for 20 minutes. Will you be all right?
Yes. Are you going to be? You're not going to slit your wrists opening a tin of beans, are you? No, I'm not. You okay? Yes, okay, I'm fine.
Shall I get the cups down from the high cupboard?
Yeah. No hot drinks. No hot drinks. Yeah, so
Here's your sippy cup.
Yeah, there's your Tommy Tippy. Now remember, put it over your teeth so you don't get any juice on your teeth, because you know how the acid eats away at the enamel. Right, okay. Yeah, so there you go. What else? I've got new internet. Finally, the BT bloke turned up. Oh, fucking hell, there goes the wine. Yeah, the BT guy finally turned up. Put the BT box in. He drilled through the wall. He tested it. He went, it's all good. And I said, that's lovely. It's in the wrong corner of the room. Yes, he actually put it as far away from the PC as he possibly could. So I now have a 60-meter cable draped around my room, waiting to be tacked into the skirting board. It's literally dangling like some kind of malevolent spider's web all around the room.
Beautiful.
Did he not move it?
No, because he had to drill.
Was this the same bloke that didn't turn up last time?
I don't know. I don't honestly know. He drilled through the wall. He drilled through the wall exactly where the fiber box attaches, the fiber channel attaches to the front of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gone in a straight line straight through the wall from where that is. So he's literally come in and let's imagine the room is a clock. He's come in at 11 o'clock. The computer is at 6 o'clock on the room. Right. So literally the only way I can get a cable from this to the router is literally to run it all the way around the fucking room. So yeah, so that's my weekend. If anyone wants to know, my weekend will be me tacking tons and tons of cabling into the skirting board. That's going to be me this week. So I might have lost a thumb by the time we get to meet again.
Hot glue. Just use hot glue.
Hot glue.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good plan. But then again, isn't that going to melt the bloody cables?
No, it won't.
Says Elton. Right, okay, I'm going to bear that in mind.
Straight away.
Yeah, okay. What? Do it straight away, yeah.
It cures straight away. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet it does. Yeah, that's going to work very well for me. Right, okay. Lastly, just a little bit of, someone has had a bit of luck. We got, my daughter is at university, Katie's at university. She got asked, to fill in a survey for the university, and, she wasn't going to. Her girlfriend said, why don't you? Go on, just fill it in. So she filled it in. Anyway, completely forgot about it. Today, she got an email back saying, congratulations, thank you very much for filling in the university survey. You've done very well. We'd be pleased to present you with this brand new PS5.
What?
So, yeah, so she's just won a PS5. Do you want to know the funny bit? She hasn't got a telly.
Go on.
She hasn't got a telly. She's got no way of plugging it in or turning it on or looking at it.
That loader.
So this podcast almost didn't. Yeah, so this podcast almost didn't go ahead because I got a text message about 10:30 this morning going, Dad, you know that telly, the little telly that's in my room upstairs in your house? Yes. is there any chance you could take it off the wall and drive it down to me in Canterbury? No.
And you said, no worries, love. A friend of mine's got a loft full of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I've got one. I've got one that switches itself on. It's brilliant. It's about 60 of them up in the loft. Yeah. So yeah, unsurprisingly, I haven't taken it down to. I've not been the world's brilliant dad. I've actually said no. So she's going to have to come and get it. Because I'm not bitter or nothing. That she's
No, of course not.
Apparently, if she didn't want the PS5, she could have had a brand new 12-inch iPad Pro with 256 gig and a pen or something.
Ooh.
But she went
Had
for
a
the
pen, a free Parker pen.
Yeah, the iPad pen.
No.
The one that costs 120
Oh,
quid.
right.
So, yeah, so there you go. So I was very bitter and jealous. And then I sent her a picture of me playing on my PlayStation this afternoon going, hey, guess what I can do that
It
you
looks
can't.
wonderful on this telly I've got here. It really does.
Yeah, I will say though, I did try it on with Carol. I said, oh, you know what we could do? We could give her our old telly, and I could buy a new telly.
Nice try.
Yeah. That's funny enough. That's kind of the response. That was the response I kind of got. So there you go. So that's been my week. Other than that, no, that's about it really. I've started watching Kaminski Method. The Kaminski Method, which is Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin, which is a little comedy on Netflix. I've only just started watching it, so it's only a couple of episodes in, but I'm really enjoying it. It's got some really dry humour, and I feel like I'm watching my future, my not too distant future, as two very old blokes basically potter about moaning about everything. I feel like it's the podcast writ large.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, it's quite good. I will talk more about it once I've actually seen more than like a couple of episodes. But yeah, it's quite fun. I'm quite enjoying it. And that's that. Right. So that's our week. But before we go to review the film, we did do an episode last week for the podcast for a film called Landmine Goes Click. Mm-hmm. Now, Landmine Goes Click was, shall we say, divisive, I think is probably the polite way of putting it. And yes, and we had people like I say, before we even started, we had people like Jeffrey Mark Hyman saying that he would think it'd be an interesting conversation to have, but he's not going to watch it ever again. And there were lots of comments along that line. However, on the Facebook group, what we did have was a piece of feedback from Michael Wilding, who said, "This is the first time I've ever felt dirty after watching a film. I thought that scene went on far too long, and I agree with Lee that they were trying to say it was all okay with the music being all ironic. I think it could have made a great 30-minute episode, but clearly they ran out of ideas towards the end. Keep up the great work, guys. Looking forward to this week's episode." So there you go. No other feedback, unsurprisingly.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I did try and watch some other reviews of it just to see if I was overreacting or not. And like I say, the reviews are all seem to be of Kerrang t-shirt wearing. Yeah, bro, I ain't seen enough raping in this episode. I don't know why everyone's getting so hit up. So, yeah.
The other, what's that other review? Oh, the rape was really boring. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that sort of thing. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, by the way, that was the other thing I did watch. I completely forgot about that. I watched The Bloody Lighthouse. I watched it again.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was on Channel 4. I thought, I'll have a look at this. Oh my God. How did we watch that? I must have been going through a fever dream. I was watching it this time and I was like, fucking hell, he really is in a wanking shed. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, so if anybody would like to send in any feedback for this episode or any other episode, by all means, send it in via email, which is feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or you can jump on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/ groups/The Black Dog Podcast. I would mention Mastodon, but frankly, every time I turn it on, it shows me the same three people speaking German, and I have no idea what I've done wrong. So, there you go. So, yes, we could talk about the whole bunch of trailers that dropped, but frankly, I don't want to. And the Sam Smith memes. Sam Smith in his leather balloon.
Thank you.
Nah, but I think we'll skip that. So let's all take a break, roll the jingle, and then we'll come back for the Banshees of Inisherin. What a cheerful film.
Ooh, we're watching a new movie we've never seen before. I'm buttering my nipples and waxing my ass. Roll up the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up
Masturbation.
for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. The Mystery Monica film is waiting for us to hit play. Going to watch it today. What will we say?
Right, the Bandsaw of Ed Sheeran, the Banshees of Inisherin, is a 2022 black tragicomedy film written, directed, and co-produced by Martin McDonagh, who you may remember from films like In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths, and more recently, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Set on a remote island off the west coast of Ireland, the film stars Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson as two lifelong friends who find themselves at an impasse when one abruptly ends their relationship, with alarming consequences for the both of them. It also stars Kerry Condon and Barry Keoghan in the film, and reunites Farrell and Gleeson after they worked together in McDonagh's directorial debut in Bruges. The film had a budget of $20 million. It was released on the 5th of September, 2022. And how much did it make at the box office, Jim?
4 fingers thrown at a door.
4 fingers at a door. Okay, Elton?
1 pole with a hook at the end.
Nice. And Darren?
Let's see now. 1 donkey and a border collie.
Nice. Actually, you're all wrong. It is, in fact, 1 house being burnt to the ground. So, no, it made $41 million in the US alone and is up for a bunch of Oscars as well in a couple of weeks' time. But there you go. We won't discuss too much of that in case it affects the older review. So, let's just go round the table, find out what everyone likes. Darren, you picked this film. I think it's safe to say that none of us has seen this before this viewing. So you go last, sir. And we will start with you, Jim. What did you think initially? Just top level thoughts. What did you think of the Banshees of Inisherin?
That was 1 hour and 55 minutes. I'm not getting back.
Okay.
I'm a bit perplexed by this movie. I don't know. I'm not sure whether I liked. There's a lot to like in it. But like when you're a kid and you have to go up a hill to see some old monument, and your parents say it'll be worth it in the end. This wasn't.
Okie dokie.
I've kind of. Yeah, so I think musing over, I think it's there's a creeping sense of disappointment diffusing me on this movie, I think. But
okay.
We will see. We will see. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it was, I don't know. It didn't connect the dots for me.
Okay, interesting. Okie dokie. What about you, Elton?
I quite enjoyed it. In a very, very slow burn kind of way, and you don't really get much at the end of it.
Okay.
It has that vibe of, there's a sinister story to tell you behind this, and it's got lots of metaphors and stuff, and you think, no, it hasn't. It's just about a man who doesn't want to speak to another man.
Okay.
But I'm sure I'm missing something.
Yes, it could be just that. It could just be that.
But
cool.
Basically, I thought this was... It could be the Black Dog movie.
What?
And well, I just think Lee is like very close to cutting all his fingers off at one point.
Does that mean Darren's got a prize donkey somewhere? What's that? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to take that. Okay.
Maybe it's saying I'm hung like a... No.
Steady. Remember the algorithm. You don't know what we're going to end up.
Complete the sentence.
Cool. Okay then. So, what about? Well, I wouldn't. No, I said you're going to go last, Darren, aren't you? Because you picked it.
Right,
for me, I found this to be. It's weird. On the one hand, I'm with you, Jim. I kind of came out of it thinking, what was that all about? On the other hand, it struck me like a tone poem thing, and it just felt like it was a slice of life. It was a slice of what was going on, and you kind of had to build the relationships up. And by the end of it, I felt profoundly sad. It clearly affected me. I really did feel like quite, I don't know, tense and hollow at the same time. And I'm hoping that by talking about it today, maybe we'll get to the bottom of it. I was kind of in that, but initially I just thought, what? And then I thought, am I thinking that because I was hoping for another In Bruges? But then I remembered that, before we go any further, has anyone seen through 3 Billboards?
No, I've never got around to 3 Billboards.
Okay. Because this really is tonally quite like that. In that kind of ambiguous, where's it going from here kind of vibe towards the end. But, okay then. But, yeah, like I say, initially I was kind of like, oh. And then sort of like percolating on it afterwards. And I was kind of like, I really felt I kind of had a massive emotional kind of whiplash out of it afterwards. But I'll pick on a few things there when we get into it properly, when we can actually do spoilers. So, yeah, for me, I think overall, once I dwelled upon it, it was a thumbs up, because thumbs all I got left. After I've chucked all my fingers at the door.
So, out of 5, are you just giving it a 1?
Yeah, which
is what you're saying.
Exactly.
One thumbs up.
Yeah, 1 thumb up. Yeah, so there you go. Darren, what about you?
Well, I have to say that I found the film quite interesting from a personal point of view, because I've been in the position that Colin Farrell, his character, Pedrick, or Padrick,
Podrick.
That's how you pronounce it.
Podrick.
Where he finds himself. Right, I've been there.
Yes.
Where somebody doesn't want to talk to you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you are left confused as fuck as to what has gone on.
Yes.
So, where that's concerned, I thought it captured the frustration from the point of view of the person who's being ostracized, as it were. I suppose I don't know if you can call it ostracized, but you get my meaning.
Yeah.
Basically told to fuck off without being told to fuck off.
Without being told to fuck off.
Yeah. I thought, Brendan Gleeson's character was incredibly sort of, he was just being I thought he was just being a bit of a twat, personally. So, I don't know.
With you there.
I'll applaud it.
We're completely with you there.
I'll applaud it for making me feel what it made me feel because of the situation. But I was slowly getting more pissed off with Brendan Gleeson's character. Just because of this, are you going to be nice to him? Are you not? Or are you, it's like, I don't think you've really got any moral high ground to stand on when you're being friends with the policeman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We all know what Colin Farrell says about the policeman.
Yeah. Yeah.
What he was doing behind the scenes. So, I just started getting more and more annoyed with Brendan Gleeson's character. And I sympathised with Colin Farrell, especially when he loses it in the end and he just fucking marches in there. Because it's like, I've had enough.
Yes.
Which is it.
Yeah, don't go any further because we're not in spoiler territory yet. Hang on.
No.
Pull back.
No.
Pull back.
Sorry. Pull up, Porkins. Pull up.
So okay. So, but by the end, so if it's made you feel like that, I mean, how do you rate the film? I mean, really? Because obviously that's the thing. If it's made you feel something like this, then surely that's got to count for something.
It was okay. I just, I don't know. I don't think they wrote Brendan Gleeson's character very well, which is the thing that takes me out of it. I really didn't. I just thought somebody got a bit bored and just gave him a. I don't know. They just, It didn't make sense. He was one thing at one point, and then it's like his behaviour comes and goes in waves, and you'll make up your mind. What do you want to do? Do you want to be polite to him, or do you want to carry on being a bit of a twat?
I don't think he really knows.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Before we go any further, then let's just say spoilers from here on in. We're going to be talking about the film in more depth. Clearly, it's a mixed bag from us, but obviously, guys, ladies, all those in between, go watch the film and send us your feedback in. Let us know what you think. It's on Disney Plus. If you're in the UK or in Europe, it's on Hulu, I believe, or HBO Max in the States. So go check it out. But we will go forward from here with spoilers only. So if you're listening past this point, you've only got yourself to blame. So, yeah, let's. Do I do the? Do the fucking fog house, lighthouse, whatever. There you go. That's the warning. There you go.
You've made your bed. You may lay in it now.
Yes, just like Ed Sheeran in his memory foam. Right. So, Ed Sheeran's memory foam. So, okay, so let's do this by the characters then. I mean, you're saying that you felt like Brendan Gleeson's Colm was just being a dick because he was written that way. Is that what I'm trying to get?
I think he was being a vain. If he's guilty of anything, it's vanity. It's that the whole thing of it doesn't matter whether what sort of conversation comes out of this bloke's face, right? He's your friend, and he's there, and he's there because he likes you, right? He's done nothing wrong apart from maybe not be the sharpest tool in the shed. Right, that's his only crime, and you're treating him like he tried to kill your dog. It's just, and it's all because this. Oh well, what's going to remain? My song, the songs will remain. It's like, but what if your songs get lost? your songs have got to make it big with everyone to be remembered, because they can quite easily be forgotten as well. So this is all bullshit. What you're doing is rubbish.
But is it? But that's the bit I not necessarily sympathised, but I empathised with him on that. And Jim, Elton, feel free to jump in on this. But as far as I was concerned, the guys sort of hit that. Well, if it was obviously in the very early 20th century, so it's beginning of this, or it's during the middle of the Irish Civil War. So everything's turning to hell in a handbasket, and he's hit what's midlife crisis. Had it been a modern day thing, he'd probably have a Ferrari and a some supermodel gold digger hanging off his arm or something, and he would have just gone off on a midlife crisis. The problem is, I think, and this is the bit I did kind of sympathise or empathise with him on, was that he's come to the conclusion that he's done nothing with his life, and now he wants to, and regardless of whether or not it's actually Podrick's fault, he's using Podrick as an excuse.
Yeah, he is.
And to me, that isn't the character being poorly written. That's just someone. That's just a perfect illustration of, we've all done it. I'm sure we've all done it. We've all had a regret of something that we didn't do, but it's never our fault. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'll talk about me. It's like, I had that Instagram thing. I was selling paintings, and then it stopped. Why did it stop? Well, it stopped because this happened and that happened and this happened and that happened. Not because I just couldn't draw, or I couldn't be bothered, or I found an excuse to sit and play on the PlayStation. Oh no, it was something else. It's something else. And to me, that was one of the things that stabbed right to the core of me. Was that whole point was that Colm himself was being a dick. Absolutely. No two ways about it. But the reason he was being a dick was because he was a man full of regrets for a life not well lived and chances not taken. Now, that's not necessarily Podrick's fault, but Podrick was obviously part of that, because were you successful, were you to have done something else in your life, taken a different turn, you wouldn't be there listening to a man talking about donkey shit. Did anybody else feel that way, or do they just all do you all think that Colm's just a dick?
Well, no, I could get that,
to do
but
what he did.
if you want to make music and play the fiddle, you don't cut your fucking fingers off.
Yeah,
but, I mean, speaking as a man who's had to look down the barrel of his own mortality, he'd be like me going, Christ, I've achieved nothing. I'll tell you what, I'll cut my throat so I can't speak. That's the bit kind of, it's funny in black comic, but it doesn't kind of add up in this sort of movie. That for me is the stepping point. It's a step too far. And then it gets into that problem. It's the same problem Landmine Goes Click has. They got to a point of, how do we resolve it? Well, we can't. Well, life's pointless, isn't it? But is that a point? Oh, that'll do. Oh, well, there we go. Well, fuck you. You know what I mean? It's kind of, there's not a proper character arc to this. I mean, I don't need an answer. I don't need a happy ending. But you just get to the end and you think, well, all right, you just stop then. Okay, thanks. It's a metaphor for Ireland itself, maybe? I don't know. Pour yourself a Guinness, get fucked. It's just, I need something more. It doesn't, the things were there. I can get the despair, the pointlessness, that kind of, the way you can really suddenly go off somebody, or people can have these falling outs over nothing, but you have to get to some sort of end point rather than going, Christ, we need going 2 hours, so we better stop now. And then the end isn't tied together. I mean, in Bruges there's an arc to that. It doesn't have any easy answers, or even necessary forgiveness or redemption, or sort of happy ending or proper dramatic stuff. But there's an arc, and you feel you've reached a conclusion.
Mm.
Whereas this, it kind of like, should I have some music? All right. The end.
Okay.
Put the credits up. And so I was getting towards a conclusion. Well, all right, I'm going to burn your house down and the donkey choking. But then it's kind of, it's still not going to go anywhere. And it's kind of, feels just sort of like, are you trying to be metaphorical? If you are, I might come and slap you. I won't be talking to you. Put it that way, you cunt. No, we've not been rowing. But you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, so you need a bit more than that. If it was half an hour, you could do that. 2 hours? No, you fucking can't. I want a bit more for my money.
Okay. Elton?
I thought it was a reflection on island life, where it was that slow glacial pace. I don't think you're getting an arc because you're already at the end of the arc. You're already on the downward spiral.
There's no arc; it's a flat line.
Yeah, and I quite like it. You have that slow pace of life, and you also have that slow breakdown of a friendship, and definitely from Colin's side of things, where he's very reluctant to give over this friendship because it's his best friend. And I hold my hands up. I've been on both sides of this, and that's not very pleasant to admit to. But yeah, I have been on both sides of this, so I know how both parties feel. Sometimes you feel, oh God, you know what? I could just do with this person just not being around anymore. And you also sit there going, why aren't they returning calls? Why am I being frozen out? What's going on? This isn't very pleasant. And yeah, I've been both sides. So it did tug on some strings with me. But I think set on the island where there's nothing really going on. Life is just about doing your work, going to the pub, doing your work, going to the pub, and nodding your hat to the copper. And there's not much more to the island life. It's a pleasant life. There's no TV, there's no PlayStations or anything like that because it's set in the olden days. And so you don't have that. You just have to live around with the island life. And I think it showed you that because I forget his name. What was Colin's character's name? Podrick. He goes down to see his friend, and it's 2:00. You want to come to the pub? It's 2:00, and then the clock chimes because every day he's down there at 2:00 on that dot, and that's just part of the routine. And all of a sudden, his routine is just shifted, where he goes, sees his friend, they walk up to the pub, they have a couple of jars. And life is good from his perspective. And then all of a sudden it is changed. And I think more I think about it, the more I really enjoyed it.
Okay. I mean, the one thing, I take your point, Jim, about it just ending. And I also take your point, Elton, about the island life. I think a lot of the thing with the ending, if we can just jump straight to that for a second, is that the point was that it finally, the relationship had broken, and once it had broken irrevocably with the death of the donkey, suddenly old Colm was suddenly regretting his choices, and next thing you know, it's like, well, we're going to leave it here because now there's only, it is the Irish Civil War. We started arguing over a small thing, then we started arguing over a bigger thing, and then it's escalated to the point where essentially we got to leave. We're leaving this thing literally, as we know that the only way that this is going to end is if one of them is dead.
Yeah, both sides are wounded as well.
Yeah, both sides are wounded and accusing of each other, and the original issue is completely being forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer about the thing it was about. It's just gone scaled out of control. And
That's true, yeah, because it then became about the killing of the donkey.
Mm.
And then the setting of the fire of the house.
Yeah.
You know, where does it stop? It just escalates and escalates. I hadn't thought about because you got the Civil War in the background over the pond.
Mm.
I hadn't really seen the relationship, but now I do. I'm seeing it deeper.
And then right at the end, they're both looking out to sea, and they look across the water, and there's been no shooting, and that's symbolic of them both stopping for that one thing to come back and just go, "I've saved your dog. Here's your dog." You know, that hands across the water moment. That sort of like, okay, have they started fighting? Well, they will do, because that's all they know, and that's all that's going to happen, and it's only going to carry on, because that's the only way it can carry on, and maybe that's the way it has to be. And, you know, he's not just talking about the Civil War anymore, he's talking about them. And, you know, it will end up with them both. It will end up with one or both of them dead. But, you know, why they didn't follow that through, well, like I say, if you've seen Three Billboards, if you watch Three Billboards, you'll come away with a very similar kind of vibe of kind of like, no, don't stop now. Stop in 10 minutes' time. You know.
Did this film start too late and end too late then? Or end too soon?
I don't know. Anyone want to step in? Because it's going to be me again. I don't want to just be me. Darren?
Did it? Personally, it kept me intrigued enough to keep me watching the screen. So the length didn't actually bother me of this film. We got there in the end. Not a great recommendation, but you know, what can I say? You know,
yeah. I mean, Jim.
For me, I say there's a lot to like in this movie. I mean, the performances, the photography, the themes. But for me, I just felt it was kind of structurally out of focus. Where it needed to give you something, it fumbled what he was trying to say, and I think I feel it was a bit of a cop out ending. Really, it was a bit kind of just too obvious, and just wasn't satisfying. That's my gripe with it. You know, because it's kind of. I was perfectly happy watching this movie. I didn't know anything about it other than who the maker was, and I was quite happy, to go into it like that. And I mean, I've enjoyed most of all these other films I've seen, and his brother's films as well. Who did Calvary?
Yeah, Calvary.
You know what I mean? And for me, it's kind of this sort of felt between In Bruges and Calvary, but it's kind of falling between two stools. It doesn't know it's going to be kind of something that's kind of actually, quite funny, but also quite sort of, same time quite dark, like In Bruges, and sort of turn horrible things into something magical. But equally, it didn't have the thing of Calvary, where it takes some very, very dark stuff, and it's a difficult story, it's a difficult end, but you do feel very satisfied by that end. Whereas this, it just didn't land. It needed that sort of killer blow that those other two movies have, and that's what I was expecting, and that's what it didn't get. It was sort of the bits were there. It was sort of, as I say, out of focus is the best way I can describe it.
Right.
And it was kind of like, as I say, you have like a loose ending like this. If it was a shorter film, for a longer film, it's on reflection. I think, come on, guys, come on.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went through an awful lot there for stating the obvious at the end. You know what I mean? Kind of this kind of absurdist kind of, oh, well, life's shit, isn't it? Sort of shrug.
Yeah.
And the escalation thing comes too late, because we've done a few films about that kind of how things like revenge and these feuds tip over. Blue Ruin being the textbook example.
Well, yeah.
Or the Denis Villeneuve film Prisoners of kind of how these things get. And you need to sort of seed the donkey needs to die earlier if you're going for that escalation plot.
Yeah, that I kind of agree with.
And the sister leaving, that sort of comes at a weird point.
Hmm.
And it's just kind of, oh, that character is interesting. Oh, she's gone now. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And I know that's kind of realistic and true to life, but in story terms, it doesn't sort of sit right. It's kind of, it's just like, oh, there was a character, then we got rid of her, and then she didn't come back again. That just feels a bit sloppy. I mean, she didn't have to come back, but it could have just ended with him getting a postcard from her and reading it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There needs to be something there. You know, do you get what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
I just like this film is not a terrible film by any means. There's so much that's brilliant about it, but it's just kind of, damn it, it just didn't. I say, just didn't quite deliver that ending that I kind of wanted. I think.
Yeah. Go on, Dal.
Sorry.
I thought you were going to say something.
It's the I agree with Jim on this one with the ending. It's that whole thing of shit. I had a metaphor in my head for this. It's gone completely.
Does it have Superman and the donkey again?
Oh God, no, that one.
As the old Spanish saying says, you cannot ride the donkey and suck its cock at the same time.
Very wise, the Spanish.
Well, it depends, really. I mean, if you're a bit limber and you're quite bendable, then anything's possible.
That's quite the clown rodeo, to be honest, isn't it? Don't bring your kids to that one.
Is that a trombone he's playing? Oh no, it's not. No.
Why is that donkey stop running?
No.
Right. So, that was a left-hand turn. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't reach that thing I was going for. You have to reach around to get it.
Right.
So,
I still quite like the metaphor for the war. I'm clinging on to that now because you look at the donkey, and it wasn't purposely killed at all, was it?
No.
This was just a byproduct of what was going on. If Podrick hadn't kept on, and with I'm forgetting all these bloody Irish names.
There's Colm and then Podrick.
Yeah, and if he hadn't kept on, then he wouldn't have cut his fingers off, and then he wouldn't have thrown him at the door, and then the donkey wouldn't have died. And that is kind of what the escalation is. It's byproducts. And it is just talking about wars, and that's what I'm getting from it anyway.
Yeah.
But then you have also other casualties of war, where you have like the policeman and then his son, who's getting a can of whoop-ass every night from him, and maybe a bit more.
Don't disturb Dad. He's in his wanking uniform. My dad's
been wanking.
My dad's been wanking.
Start naked with his hat on.
Honestly, I thought he was wearing a pair of brown pants. I really did in that, and it's like, oh no, there's no pants there at all.
There's little cock is there.
There's times for HD, and then there's times for standard def, and that was definitely a time for standard def.
But I think there are some lovely lines thrown all the way through this, none of which I can recite or remember, but I think on subsequent views of this film I will get, and they are just glorious. But it is another film which I think it uses its scenery to fill in some gaps. It looks glorious.
Oh yeah,
absolutely beautiful, but it does use them to fill in a lot of heavy holes that you have. And you could have a scene where it's working really well. You got nice dark dialogue that's going along, and then you need a breath. Use the scenery, but really you could have been on to something else. But then again, you're in a beautiful part of the world, so why the hell not use that scenery?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, cinematography and the the script, as in the dialogue, I think were tippity top. Absolutely no two ways about it. And the acting was great because you did, regardless of how you feel about the actual film in general, you can't say that these two weren't selling those parts really well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were very convincing.
But I think one of the thing that I keep coming back to is one of the things that it was trying to say but didn't, which is kind of ironic given what I'm about to say, is the fact that a lot of the problems came about in between the characters came about because they didn't feel they could actually say what they wanted to say. So they just went back to the sort of like old tropes of, that sort of, old, the male tropes, I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to insult you until you fuck off. Rather than just saying, I feel sad, I feel old, I feel washed up, I'm losing my skills, I don't feel like I'm making a mark. All these things that I'm sure all of us and loads of people who are listening have probably felt or going to feel at some point in their lives. There's going to be a point where you just go, what am I doing this for? What have I achieved? Could I have done better? Surely I could have done better. And, I haven't. Why? And
so what you're saying is this is the same questions that all four of us ask ourselves before we start recording.
Every fucking week. Every week. And funny enough, after we record as well. What could I have done better?
What have I done?
What have I done? Why have I wasted my time?
Fucking comic book guy. They've wasted my life.
They've wasted my life. But it is. It's, I hate to make it sound like it's a, that kind of film. Yeah, but it is also a study on the inability of men to communicate with other men in a normal fashion. And by normal, I mean actually just be honest and open and say things to each other. People, we've all got worries and things in our lives that we're not talking about to each other. I'm sure we have. I'm pretty damn sure we have.
Yeah.
I have, and I'm not telling you guys. But
I'll be honest. Mine is there supposed to be a rash there? That's all I'm saying.
No. Mine is
saying where it is.
Mine is why is it just a drip and not a full flow? No. Anyway, no. So, but the thing is, but that's the point, isn't it? We will make a joke about it before we say something serious about anything. Doesn't matter what it is. And that's one of the things at the heart of this film. Podrick doesn't want to hear sensible conversation about a person having an existential crisis and trying to find meaning in his life. And Colm doesn't want to hear about, doesn't want to be...
Hear about what his donkey's eaten by accident.
Yeah, doesn't want to... is resenting the fact that he's wasting his time listening to a man talk about a donkey. Now, they were both perfectly happy about that. But then one day it changes because one isn't and the other one doesn't understand. And they don't have the ability or the tools emotionally to communicate. Which comes even more apparent when Colm seems to be sidling up to the policeman and being a friend with the policeman, and then lashes out at him when he realizes he's on the wrong side of the fence. It's that you could talk to the policeman, but the policeman only knows violence and insults, so Colm responds in kind.
Well, the first thing that we see of the policeman to Podrick is he blanks him.
But exactly, and that's the thing. We've all done these things. We've as Darren said and as Elton said, we've all done these things. We've blanked people, and we don't necessarily feel good about it. I know I've done this definitely, and I don't feel good about it. I never felt good about it, but but we've had to. Sometimes we've had to because of circumstances. Sometimes we've had to because it's for the good of our own mental health. You know.
Yep.
But, you know, you have friends or friends of friends, shall we say, not just to keep things vague, but friends of friends who suddenly
that'll do it. That'll drop down them vague shrouds.
No. I mean,
friends of friends of friends.
I'm just saying this because like Darren will know one of them, but there was a friend of a friend, and he had a whole cadre of friends around him, and the first bloke, the one layer down bloke, fucked off and left us with the others. And it was like every Wednesday they'd be round, and every Wednesday afternoon they'd be round, and then every Friday they'd be round. And my house, my flat at the time, became like a clubhouse. You know what I'm talking about, right, Dal? Too much links. Too much links under the door.
Yes.
Stinky.
Indeed.
Yep, right, cool. And the guy was perfectly fine. The guy was perfectly lovely.
Can I just say, for people who weren't there, and I'm only going on descriptions of what Leah said, it's kind of reminiscent of that bit in Stars in Her Eyes, you know, when they do the big build-up, and then the bloke comes out and says, "This week, Matthew, I'll be," and he goes, "Here is so-and-so as...
Freddie Mercury.
David Dickinson," and then it's like, you know, the fucking dry ice goes on overkill.
Yeah,
it was a bit like that.
Yes, there was a person who was a friend of a friend who had serious body odor issues, and before we went anywhere or before we went out or anything, would literally empty an entire can of Lynx on themselves. To the point where it did look like dry ice rolling out from underneath the toilet door.
Indeed.
He did. It
This
was
week,
mad.
Matthew, I will be Bobson Knuckle fucker.
Dragger.
Ta-da!
And so, yes. And he was a perfectly lovely person. But, you know, there was a certain level of expectation that they're going to come around your house. They're going to do this thing. They're going to bring these games. They're going to do this, and we're going to have this game, and we're going to do this thing, and they will leave bang on 11 o'clock at night, and all this kind of stuff. And you've got to cut them loose, because otherwise your brain is going to melt, and you are going to end up doing the same thing forever and gain nothing from it. And that's not to say that you have to gain things from friendships, but that's just to say that sometimes there are people who are comfortable doing nothing forever, and you just want to do more.
Yeah, sometimes that friendship runs aground, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not that you want more from it, but you go through life together doing your things, either separately or together, and then coming together after you've gone separate. But then sometimes you feel like you're dragging people along with you, and you need that release.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying about the Colm character. I mean, to use this person who's the Cloud of Lynx, for example, when I finally moved in with Carol, I moved away from my parents' house, moved in with Carol, and we were in Chelmsford and all this sort of thing. This person still thought that every Friday they would be able to come to my house, you know, travel 40 miles or whatever it is to Chelmsford, and then sit in my house, eat pizza, play PlayStation, and then go home at 11 o'clock. And it's like, dude, I now have a fiance, I now have a house, I now have a new circle of friends which are building up from Carol's, you know, work relationships. I'm living in a completely different town. I'm not going to run to your schedule every day. And, you know, and to me, that's where I kind of empathize with Colm, because, you know, even if he took a bit more drastic turn, that whole thing of, I just want to play on my fiddle. I don't want to go to the pub at 2 o'clock. You know what I mean? Oh, I want to write some music. I don't want to listen.
There's jokes aplenty in there, mate. Talking about, I just want to play with me fiddle.
Turn on the
fiddle, me fiddle.
Now, do you want to turn on the telly loud? Is nobody in the house?
Green room talk.
Green room talk. Nobody's in the house. Brilliant. Turn the telly up. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of understood it. But the thing was, I never ever said to that person, go away. I never ever said to that person, enough's enough. And to me, that's kind of the heart of this film. Colm goes from 0 to 100. I don't want to be friends with you no more. Because he can't communicate what he needs to his friend. And his friend, not understanding a fucking word of any of it, doesn't know how to let go. And so it's loneliness as well. He doesn't want to lose a friend because he's only got his sister, that idiot, and the idiot policeman's son, and his mate, Colm. Sorry, Elton, carry on.
It's that... I'm wondering if phasing out had been created at this time. There is no opportunity to phase. There is no opportunity to ghost someone on social media for a little while, and they might get the hint, or ghost someone in a... Well, he tried to ghost him in the pub, didn't he? He tried to totally ignore him, and he's gone the wrong way about it. He's just doing it, as you say, from 0 to 100, and just blatantly, no, today is the day I now make music, and you are surplus for my requirements, because you are a distraction, and nothing that comes out of your mouth is anything that I can deal with. And they both don't know how to deal with it.
No.
Podrick doesn't know how to deal with that because his friend is just, shunning him immediately, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. He just thinks he's stupid.
No, we've not been rowing.
Yeah.
Have we been rowing? We've not been rowing. It feels like we've been rowing. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, I think loneliness does come in there, because Podrick feels lonely, but then you got Colm, who I think there is some sort of loneliness because he feels like he's losing out because he's just got his mate coming around and just talking utter crap all the time, which maybe makes him feel lonely. But then again, maybe once he's removed that, then he realizes how much loneliness really is.
The thing is, that what gets me, though, is kind of, I think Podrick, he might be, as they say, a bit dull in the film, but in a way, he's becoming a scapegoat for Colm's failures.
Yeah.
And he has suddenly personified these failures, and is kind of, well, if I get rid of him, I get rid of the failures. But what gets me is there's a hypocrisy, as Darren touched upon, that it's over. I'm going, I want to write music, I want to write a tune and be remembered. Yet he's still in the fucking pub.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of, I think there's a bit more to be made by that, by having at some point in the last act him being made to confront the fact that, you said this, but you're still fucking down the pub wasting your time. And you're spending it with that fucking absolute twat of a copper. And there was some sort of dramatic meat there that went unchewed, shall we say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, with the copper?
Well, not just with Colm's hypocrisy. I mean, there's the kind of idea that you say, yeah, fair enough, I get, I understood his speech. He wants to make some of his life. He doesn't just get pissed all the time, and he feels not hanging out with Podrick is the best way to do it, and he's not going to write the right way, but I can understand that. But then he's still at the pub at fucking 2:00 anyway, drinking on his own, and then later drinking with the copper and having sing-songs, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, come on, man.
But he was writing, though, wasn't he? He was writing at the pub when he was on his own.
Yeah, he was.
Till he cut his fingers off. There was
but then
thumbprints, wasn't it?
that is cutting off your nose to spite your face. That's where that comes from. So he wants him removed so he can play music, but he realizes he can't remove him because then he's going to have to lose a finger to get rid of him. So he gets this message, and ultimately he's there at the table with a piece that he's written, geeing everyone on, but he can't play it. He's fucked himself over.
But
to
then,
get where he wants to be, but really he's going to end up in the same place.
I think the other thing is worth noting is that is that pretentiousness, is that whole thing of he wants to make something that feels like he's done something for the world, and he mentions Mozart, 400 years Mozart, people are still talking about him, everyone's heard of him. Well, I haven't, I haven't heard of
Jesus Christ either.
Yeah, exactly. And but the thing I find really interesting with that is that everyone hates the fucking music and too polite to say, because they keep and again it's that masculine thing of, rather than saying what they really feel, they take the piss. They go, "Oh, that Mardy music you've been making, Colm, that Mardy ass music that nobody, it's just fucking miserable." And it's like, because he's still convincing himself he can still make something of his life, and that's the problem. He thinks he can make something of his life. He can't, but he's trying to find all the excuses to do that. And then when he realizes that everyone's calling his music shit, and then which comes to a head with Podrick saying that your music's shit, it's miserable shit. Turns around and says that's when the threat of the fingers starts happening, and then it becomes another reason to blame Podrick. It's like, it's not that I'm making shit music, it's that I've had to cut my finger off because Podrick won't leave me alone. Do you know what I mean? He's literally making excuses for the reason why his music is shit, and then making excuses for why he can't make music anymore.
Is there a theme of blame in this as well, then?
Yeah, I think so. Blame, denial, and, as Darren pointed out, hypocrisy. It's that whole thing. It's because at the end of the day, when he finally calms down and starts talking to Podrick, is right at the end, once the house has been burnt down and once all his fingers are gone. But by that point, it's gone too far, and now Podrick's the one who's out for fucking blood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's gone the other way.
With the blame, what about the Dominic character? Because we hear in the shop, do you remember that shopkeeper? She's like, "Oh, what news do you have? What news? Oh, I don't have any news. Oh, what news do you have? Oh, Mr. Policeman, what news do you have?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I heard one of the boys, 19, I think he was, he walked into the river." And then they find Dominic in the river. He's got a story to tell there, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, that's news. That's news. I mean, who wants to take the thing with Dominic, the kid? Anybody? Anyone got any other thoughts on that? Because I'm trying to really not be the Lee show talking about Lee thinking about Lee kind of thing.
Dominic the kid, the policeman's son. Yeah, that was his name. Dominic. That's that's the incredibly sad story. It's he's not able to come out and tell people what's going on, and so he just suffers in silence. And it gets to the point where his final, last, desperate grab for happiness is going to see Podrick's sister,
Siobhan,
and asking, Siobhan, and saying, "So how about it? Why don't we sort of like date and go and do our thing?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't feel about you the same way." And him him taking that as a real solid final rejection. By
Do you reckon
somebody
that's
he thought.
why he ended up in the river then?
I think it's a case of buckaroo. That was the spade that went onto the thing and tipped the donkey.
Ah.
I think that was it. It wasn't her fault.
No,
it's straw, camel's back.
So
and can I just say,
yeah.
I thought she was the most sensible character, the most likable one in it. She had nothing. She was the only one that saw sense and basically told Colm exactly what she thought of him and his little tantrum, of doing this. It's like, he wasn't interested. You're on a fucking island, okay? That's it. We're with nothing really here, and it's boring. Like all the fucking conversations of all men, fucking boring. You're boring. He's boring.
Which comes to the point that she's the only one who does anything with her life more than Colm. She actually does reject everything and then fuck off to actually a better life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you notice the sort of in one way or another, her and the boy, their endings are kind of the same but different. I know it sounds like a bit of a fucking puzzle, that one, but they're the only two people who kind of get off the island in the end.
Yeah.
She gets off to go for a good life, and he kind
He's
of
released.
doesn't see any other way of he doesn't want to be there, but he's got nowhere else to go. He can't look after himself because, well, that's it.
Well, does he go home and then take another lashing off of his old man? Does he do that for the rest of his
And
life?
God knows what else
Yeah.
his old man's doing to him.
But that again goes back to the whole thing, doesn't it? It's the people who don't want to repeat their lives over and over and over again till the end of their lives, till the end of their days. Whether it's Colm not wanting to go to the pub, he wants to write music, or whether it's Siobhan wants to go off and actually, be with people who actually read books, or whether it's Dominic who wants to have a family and get away from his father. The fact of the matter is that he sees Siobhan as an escape as much as anything. And,
but
he's just mentally not capable for it. Yeah. Go on, sorry.
The odd one out in that three is Colm. The odd one out there. You see, because those three individuals, Siobhan and Dominic, they're not doing what they do at anyone else's expense, right? And Colm is doing it at the expense of his friendship with Podrick. He could have done a whole lot of things. He could have just said, "You know what, mate? I'm not going to come down the pub so much anymore." And he still goes down the pub. He's like, look at the people he's talking to. It's like, you cheeky shit. You've turned round and you've told him he's boring. Look at the twat you're talking to now. You sat there with the policeman. He's hardly going to be found down a fucking Christian Science reading rooms on a Wednesday night, is he?
Yeah.
So
I think that maybe that's where Podrick finds it hard, because he's not. Colm's not going off and doing his thing and leaving Podrick behind. He's just replaced him with something else.
It's just like he's cut him out of his life, and it's kind of, what's the point of this?
Mm.
And the thing is, Podrick,
and you've only done it to
of everyone. Podrick, though, he seems to be one who's actually sort of content.
Yeah,
he's quite happy just bimbling around with his animals, looking after the animals. He really, obviously, you can see that from just the sort of like lighter scenes where he loves those animals. He'll happily have a horse in the house like a pet. You know what I mean? And he'll go to the pub, and as he said, he tried to be a nice guy, and he thought that was enough. And that's another thing that sort of comes quite early on in the movie. That little speech about being nice and nice not being enough. And I feel that kind of maybe should have been quite there. Could have come a little bit later. But it's one. I think it is interesting. I mean, I said there's a lot. Even though I have trouble with the ending, and I kind of like, damn it.
Mm.
There's so much in this film that I think is really, really good that I really did enjoy.
Mm.
And so many kind of the whole existential thing. And it does kind of what Calvary did as well with kind of, you've got these people, because we watch it as, you know, urban people, and you see this beautiful landscape. And it's kind of, for most people, we want to retire somewhere. We want to go live there somewhere now.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yet the people who do live there fucking hate it.
Yeah. Because they're bored off their nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that's a marvellous contrast. Calvary does it as well, and I think that does it even better. Because it is just kind of, well, apart from Colm cutting off his fingers, which I think is something we probably need to focus on a bit, because that was certainly a bit of a sticking point for me in the plot.
Yeah.
But it is that kind of, it's about sort of everyday frustration, whereas Calvary is about a lot of people with a lot of dark shit going on.
Yeah.
Whereas this is more, shall we say, relatable, more universal. Universal is a good word, I think.
Yeah.
That kind of, what am I doing with my life? Why am I here? You know, that feeling that the grass is greener somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then. Well, I mean, so okay. Then the finger cutting. I mean, what do we think about this? I mean, you've heard what I think. I think it's just another excuse for Colm to blame Podrick for his own lack of talent. And anyone else?
It is. It's. And I know I don't normally say this, but you know, trigger warning for what I'm about to say, and I'm going to talk about, you know, people who harm themselves, right, or that whole thing. And there's an element of that in here, right? It's that, you know, how some people who find themselves frustrated in life, they like cut themselves.
Yes.
This is kind of, this is very much in that way. He's doing the same thing, but he's going to even more extremes. He's not just like, you know, getting a knife and scratching himself with it or cutting himself with there. He's removing a limb. There's even more, Jesus Christ, there's even more existential stuff wrapped around that. It's the whole thing of, what he's saying basically to Podrick, or the way I see it is, the more I'm with you, the more freedom you're taking away from me to be who I am as a person, until there's nothing left of me.
Yeah,
that's it. Every time you speak to me now, a little piece of me dies.
Yeah,
and that's what these fingers are. That's what he's saying, and that's an incredibly selfish thing to say to someone. You're basically putting your frustration on their shoulders. What is it called? Trauma dumping? I think that's what they call it.
I don't
Maybe
know that, but yeah,
it's a good phrase.
Yeah,
whatever.
trauma dumping is where, actually, no, maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. But trauma dumping is where you talk to someone you don't really know and you just unload all your problems on them.
Yes.
So you're drawing them, and they've not asked for it. You're just giving it to them. That's it. You know, whether you're doing it as a conscious thing or not, that's the phrase for it. It's where your troubles, you're letting them know about it, so they're sharing it whether they want to or not.
Yeah, whether you want it or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it could also be said about the playing of the fiddle and removing Podrick from his life. Maybe deep down he knows his music isn't that good, and yet he blames Podrick. Okay, I don't want you in my life. My music's shit, but I want to get better, but I don't want to face that. And so every time you come along, I will chop a finger off, and then I've got someone to blame for my music being bad. And if someone says, well, you know, I used to be good when I had 4 fingers, and now I've only got 3 to play the fiddle. And then it's just going to get worse and worse until I've got no more fingers to play this music, and it's all your fault.
Yeah.
It raises something else as well with that, doesn't it?
Go on.
When you think about it, Colm is just looking for something to do, right?
Yeah.
People, musicians who really care about the fact that, you know, who are happy to make music will just make music whether people like it or not.
Yeah.
And he's not doing that. It's a vanity thing. It's just, I want to be remembered, so I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. It's not like I really love my music. This is a fantastic. I don't care if anybody else likes it. It makes me feel better to produce this stuff. And yet he's going, I'm doing it to be remembered. So you're doing it for the money. That's basically what it is. It's the same sort of thing. You're doing it because it makes you feel
kudos,
happy.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That. See, again,
the
this
first
is another thing
rule
about
doing
it.
anything creative, the secret rule that no one lets on is Stephen King summed up on writing. He says, when you sit down to write, you are free to write the worst crap in the universe.
Yeah. But
And
people
that's
don't.
true. Anything creative, if you want to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You have to do it first, because you'll never get better if you don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, that's the addiction of being creative. And, everyone, there's people like 50-year-old in bands and people, they're never going to get anywhere. They've never reached a record. But that's missing the point of why those people are in bands.
They're doing it because they enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fun of doing it. Just simple as that. And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's the fact that this is good. We enjoy this.
It's slightly narcissistic when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that he does is narcissistic. He's not taking the blame for not doing anything. He's, you know what? He's an easy target. I'll use him because it's not my fault. It's not my fault I'm feeling useless. He could still be friends with Podrick and get on and do what he needs to do. But no, he's blaming someone else. He's laying it at someone else's feet. Right? Look at the fact that he's now got an audience with all these pupils as well. Again, look at me.
Yeah.
Look,
but
you see, I'm.
I mean, I've got to be honest. I hold my hand up. I mean, I've been chasing that dragon for yonks. I've made it one of my shall we say, made it one of my New Year's resolutions, not to mention one of my previous places of work, because I actually get annoyed by the fact that all I do is mention it, and then publish pictures to try and make people go woo and get the likes and get the love and all this kind of stuff. That's why I nuked my bloody Instagram. That's why I don't put anything I've done in the last year up on Facebook. That's why I've turned all my pictures off on Facebook. I've gone through it. I've been down that road and out the other side. I've been calm. I've been, I once had greatness and it was taken from me, kind of, delusions of grandeur. And now I'm on
Centauri Empire.
Yeah. Yes, we used to blacken the skies with our ships and everyone, all this sort of thing. Yes, my good and dear friend. But now I'm on the other side of the fence. I'm now to use that metaphor. I'm now Londo Malari sitting at a bar on his own, going, "I would just like you to sit and have a drink with me," and it's just like. Yeah. It's that whole thing of you have the pretensions, you want something more, and you're looking for excuses not to, either not to do it or the reason why you're not as good as you are. And really, as Jim said, you got to do it for the fun of it, for the fact that it's making you are enjoying it, not anyone else. Mm-hmm. Because ultimately, as I sort of discovered, and I know it's all me at the moment, but I put all that stuff on the bloody Facebook and put it all on Instagram and put it on that, and you'll get a couple of likes and a couple of clicks, and then you'll come back in a couple of months' time and go, nobody's engaged with it, nobody's said anything, nobody's talking to you about it, and it's like, so what did I do it for? Yeah, exactly. So why am I for
yourself?
Yeah, exactly. So what did I do it for? Why do I care? Clearly, there's some need for validation, and that's obviously what comes after. But he realizes his music's shit, and he can't blame Podrick once he's with the students and he's busted. So then, when Podrick turns up and starts talking to him, he's like, "I'm going to cut my fingers off and throw them at you." It's like, yeah, because it's still your fault. It's still your fault, Podrick, not mine. Mm-hmm. I'm not shit. I'm not pretentious. You're ruining it, and that's why he makes the big grand gesture in front of everyone in the pub, which ironically is what Podrick does back to him. I'm going to burn your house down. You can either be in it or be out, but I'd say leave your dog on the outside. Leave your dog outside.
Can I ask a question about the guy that he picks up on the way home from town? I think it is. And he tells him that not his ma. His dad got run over by a bread van.
Yep, Happy Bin's run over with a bread van.
I bet I'll be the same one that my mum got run over by.
I'll fucking kill him.
What was that all about? Is that anything, or is that just like a light-hearted moment?
No.
Oh shit! How quickly he folds with that when he says, "But me dad's dead" or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, he is now. Yeah.
Yeah. He is now. He's been hit with a bread van. No.
Or was it his mum he said had died? But he said, your mum's sent a message over, and he's like looking shocked. You say, "Me mum," you say.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yes.
Your auntie sent something over.
Yeah. But what does everyone think about that? Jim, you got any thoughts on that scene? Better not be the bastard who knocked him over. I'm going to kill him.
I like but think how pleased you'll be here when he gets fire home and finds his daddy's not dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is funny.
Well, maybe that's it. That it's that gratification. He's adding a bit of. I know he's going to be sad on the way there, but he's going to be relieved when he gets home.
I don't think that's why why Podrick's doing it. I mean,
I'm reaching. I know.
No. I mean, to be quite honest, firstly, it's the jealous friend thing. I've been friends with him for longer. I'm trying to get rid of him. So, and it comes back to loneliness. It's that whole thing of, if Colm has nobody around as friends, then he's going to come back to me, kind of thing.
Oh, was he one of his friends?
Yeah, he was one of the musicians in the pub.
Oh, gotcha. I see.
So that's what that was all about. But the other thing was, I think, and again, feel free to correct me if you disagree, but I think it's the slide from Podrick being a nice guy forever and basically being a doormat to his slow slide to becoming essentially selfish and self-centered and horrible and basically bad by his own measure. Because even Dominic turns around and goes, "Oh, I thought you were one of the good ones," and that's that whole thing of then all of a sudden,
maybe this is the new me.
Maybe this is the new me, and also then you get that, which is followed up by the big shouty match in the pub, and then basically Colm admitting to Podrick's sister that that was the most interesting he's ever been. And it's the most interesting he's ever been. I was almost friends with him again, and it's that whole thing of it's the shock of the new, it's the fresh, it's different. It's because these guys that are on the island, they're bored off their fucking asses, just milking cows.
Yep. I'm wondering in that moment when he did turn around and say, "Oh, I wonder if I could be his friend again," or it was thinking about it. It made him think about it, and I wonder if there was a moment where he's like, "Well, I've taken it this far. Who do I blame once I become his friend again? I need to see this out. I need to see this through."
Yeah.
No, it's that bit where Podrick kind of screws the pooch as well, where it looks like he's finally got through to Colm. And he's kind of like, in his relief, he goes, "Oh, well, maybe I should tell that bloke I sent off the island, one of your students, I lied to him about his dad dying. So, we'll sort that out, won't we?" And then Colm's like, "What?"
Yeah, well, it's that whole it's that whole thing of well-meaning Podrick. He still can't be bad. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He can't be bad, no matter how hard he tries.
And what about Mrs. was it Mrs. McCormick? Was she?
Oh, her.
Yeah,
The
was
hag.
she some sort of representation of anything?
I
Yeah,
thought
the
she
Grim
was.
fucking Reaper.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought she was actually a banshee. I thought she was one of the banshees that's mentioned in the title.
Ah, okay.
Now I'm
Much
sure.
like that one that was after the news all the time. You know.
Yeah.
So, what news from the other side of the island are you bringing with you?
Yeah.
You got no news.
Your
No?
letter just
No
fell
news?
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheeky
Fuck
cow.
you.
Must have been the heat. Yeah. But yeah, I was going to say I as far as Mrs. McCormick's concerned, and Jim, feel free because you'll be the man with the know on the mythical creatures and whatnot. But and the mythology. But as far as it goes, I think they mentioned at one point, what if banshees are real, but they're not singing songs and sirens, but they're just like there to sort of, as harbingers of doom.
Well, so the idea of banshees is banshees were normally a spirit connected with a particular family, and they make an appearance when someone's going to die, and they famously have this very loud, piercing shriek, like a lament, which is heard, is a forewarning that someone will die. Now, I noticed in this film, you say you've got the lead old woman, but throughout, I noticed there's tons of other women in black smoking pipes. About halfway through, I started to wonder, are they really there?
Yeah.
Or are they all just the individual banshees for each family, just watching over?
Yeah,
because a lot of them were never mentioned by name. There's only one who's like is a real old woman. But there's quite a few others who are almost like not identical, but similar, in black, smoking a pipe, and they're just seen like sitting on walls or in the pub or passing by a lane and never speak to anyone. I did wonder, actually, are they the titular banshees?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just hovering around like like angels of doom.
That's creepy.
Because the idea every family has their own banshee. That was
Really?
That's part of the myth. Yeah, that banshees are usually they're not just random floating. It's normally is one attached to each of the clan, as it was back in the old days.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of is that film, black and white film. I think it's called The City of Angels, and it's
Wim
French
Wenders.
film.
Wim Wenders, Wings of Desire.
Yeah, and you just see the angels just hanging around, that kind of thing. That's what that reminds me of. This is a bit of a darker one, of course.
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah, I was going to say the idea that they're all hanging around Portent. I mean, in which case, Mrs. McCormack or whatever her name is, she says that she wanted to get the prediction accurate that 2 people would die. So, now is she talking? Here's the question: is she talking about Dominic and the donkey, or excuse me, is she talking about a metaphorical death, which is Podrick being good because he goes to the dark side, by the end, or, which is something I was thinking by the end, was that the sister went off to Ireland right in the middle of the bloody Civil War, and Mrs. McCormack's going, oh yeah, I need to, it's either your sister or you are going to die. I need to get it accurate. So what do you think that maybe represents? Is it the death of Podrick's soul, or is it the death of Siobhan off stage now that she's gone to this, Civil War laden Ireland?
I think you're kind of right on that. I think one is a metaphorical death and the other one is an actual death. So there's Dominic is one death. And the other death, as you say, is Podrick, because as he said to Dominic, maybe this is the new me. And you can see there's a point, once he loses that donkey, there's something that just goes in his eyes and his demeanour. It's just, he's not, He's not the fun-loving Podrick anymore. He's something else. He's turned.
Hold on, Dow.
Yep.
I've got it.
What?
He's the geezer from Star Wars.
Which geezer from Star Wars is that, Lee?
He's the one
Would that
who
be
turned
from Star Wars Episode 1, A New Hope? Would that be a character from Star Wars Empire Strikes Back? Would that be a character from Star Wars Return of the Jedi?
I don't think he's from Star Wars Rebels Season 1.
No. What about Ewoks Caravan of Courage?
Here we go again. No, just maybe he's Caravan of Courage. No, not Caravan of Courage.
Well,
no one goes.
Bardin. Well done.
I was thinking there was something missing from this episode.
Now we
It's
know.
that. I'm getting too comfortable with this. I'm getting too comfortable with this whole Star Wars thing then.
The geezer from
Which Star Wars thing would that be, Darren? Would that be the thing from... No.
Yeah. The geezer from Star Wars. Anyway. Right, okay. I think we need to wrap it up given the time that we're recording. Has anyone got anything additional they want to bring up? Apart from a hairball or possibly some
A finger.
a finger, yeah, donkey fur.
No, I think I'm done on this one. But I did really enjoy it.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I think I don't think I enjoyed it because it made me incredibly depressed and kind of self-reflecting in a way that I didn't appreciate. but anyway, Darren, anything?
No, I think I'm done.
Okay, Jim?
No, I'm good, I think.
Okay, cool. Right, but if anyone out there has any thoughts, any conspiracy theories, or they know who the geezer from Star Wars is, doesn't matter what, just send us some feedback into feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or get on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, and leave us some feedback there. Right, that was Banshees of Inisherin. It is on Disney Plus, and go off and watch it and make up your own mind and let us know what you think. But now, before we go to Pimp's Corner and then finally say goodnight, it is time for me to delve into the bucket of shit. It is for me to produce a film for us to watch for next week. Now, this film, I had literally no idea this thing existed until it was reviewed somewhere. And then I was very aware that it existed, and I thought, this is a film for us. This is a film which needs the black dog eye passed over it. There was a whole slew of movies not too long ago that came out, and they would be able to get hold of really expensive, previously famous actors, and they would get them in for like 20 minutes, film them in their own house, and then call it a day, and then mix in a whole bunch of crappy fucking actors around a supposed action film. And I found that one of the big ones, or the lowest ones, shall we say, is on Amazon Prime. It stars, now I'm going to see if I can hear Jim's soul leave his body as I say this, because I'm sure he knows this one. Right? This stars some big stars. I mean, we've got Denise Richards in there, and we've got Thomas Jane in there from The Expanse, and we've also got Kelsey Grammer as the villain.
Oh, God.
There you go. Right there. But we've also got a bunch of nobodies. Yeah. Kelsey Grammer. Old Fraser himself. And the movie is Money Plane. Money Plane.
What?
Yes. Money Plane.
Money Plane.
Money Plane. Available on Amazon.
Plane.
Money Space Plane. It's
is it
about
a new film.
Oh, yeah. Well, relatively new. And it came out, unsurprisingly, during lockdown. And it's about a heist of a casino which is on a plane in the sky. This can only be a great thing. You know it. We know it. Money Plane. And Kelsey Grammer in the Money Plane plays, and you're gonna love this. He plays the Rumble. That's who he plays.
You're just saying words, mate.
Darius.
What?
Darius. He plays Darius the Rumble Grouch. That's his name. That he is the villain.
Darius the Rumble Grouch.
Yes. A professional thief with $40 million in debt and his family's life on the line must commit one final heist to rob a futuristic airborne casino filled with the world's most dangerous criminals. Yeah. The main character is called Jack Reese. Thomas Jane's character is just called Harry. He'll be in it for approximately...
See Thomas Howell in this by any chance?
I don't actually know. I don't know anyone else who's in this film. Apart from...
What about that martial arts expert, Bo...
Don the Dragon Wilson. Or Don
the Dragon Wilson.
Don Wingnut Wilson. No, he's not in there. But this has a spectacular rating on IMDb of 3.2 out of 10.
Please tell me that at least Michael Dudikoff is in there somewhere.
No, we haven't. We couldn't stretch the Dudikoff. Man. We couldn't stretch the Dudikoff.
Cynthia Rothrock?
No, we couldn't. We couldn't stretch to him. We couldn't, or Wingshauser. we couldn't get any of them.
Oh, the McNamara brothers.
No, the McNamara brothers. No, we couldn't even stretch to a Neil Breen. We're
But we got the style of that sitcom that someone at college used to call Frasier.
Yes, yeah, we got a guy from Frasier.
Yeah.
Frasier. Yeah. Oh, baby, I hear the blues.
It's funny that Frasier, isn't it?
Aye.
Frasier, stop.
Yeah. Yes. Darius Emmanuel Grouch III, better known as the Rumble.
No Louis Gossett Jr.
No, I'm afraid not. No, or Dennis Quaid. No, we haven't got any of that.
Oh man,
can't even spring for any of the cast or crew from American Ninja. None at all. So
not even. Oh man.
So I'm going to ask the question: has anyone seen Money Plane? 2020
enough, no.
No?
No.
I'm not sure anyone has.
No.
Not even the director.
Not even the cast. I mean, I am looking at one of the quotes from Darius Emmanuel Grouch III, better known as the Rumble. He gets a machine gun and actually says, "It's Rumble time."
Oh God!
Can you imagine? What? Kelsey Grammer with a machine gun going, "It's Rumble time." Yes, that's what we're in for. Money Plane.
So, if he took clothes and he made them not wet, would he be a rumble dryer?
No, but you might have bought them from Rumbelows.
Oh,
come on!
With them and it finishes with
it starts with them, finishes with them, and you got nothing but
didn't
yourself.
Didn't he join and Deck once on a song? Let's get ready to rumble. No.
He was in a film with
watch us rock the mic, watch us wreck the mic, watch us wreck the mic.
Psych. Let's get ready to rumble. Oh, well, that's the jingle sorted for next week. There you go.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah,
please.
Let's get ready to rumble. There you go. I've just changed the banner. You can enjoy the poster of the 3 highly paid actors who only appear in it for about 17 seconds, and the main character, Adam Copeland, whoever the fuck he is. So there you go. Money Plane. An explosive casino heist in the sky. 3.2 out of
Sorry.
10.
Leslie. No.
Leslie Manville? What were you going to say there? Leslie Nielsen?
Oh, man.
Mm. Anyway,
Yeah, I was going to say Leslie Nielsen, actually.
so are we looking
he's
forward
dead.
to this? Are we looking forward to watching this?
Not really.
Oh,
no,
fucking
but,
yeah.
Jim?
Not really.
Hey! My work here is done. Yay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Jim.
there you go.
Adam Copeland, is he a wrestler?
Not a clue.
I think he might be a wrestler.
Not the first foggiest. Could not tell you. Not a clue. Not
Yeah,
a
oh God,
Scooby-Doo.
You've done a wrestling movie, mate.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's a wrestler.
Oh, well, there you go. Enjoy.
Wrestler
sure-
season.
I think
Well, you
enjoy
like that
is
movie?
really not.
You like that movie with John Cena in it? John Cena.
Jesus.
So, we're already halfway there. Come on. We're going to love it. It's going to be great. Come on. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Oh, yeah. See? This is the palate cleanser. This is the lightening the load. This is brightening things up. This is how it's going to go. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. And you guys out there will too, as we review next week, Money Plane. So, it's on Amazon Prime. Get out there and watch it.
I'm fed up with all this money on this motherfucking plane.
Yeah. I think we got to take account of how many times someone says Money Plane as well. I get a
And let's get ready to rumble time.
Yeah, rumble time.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll have to start a count on that
there you go.
as we watch.
Drinking game.
Drinking game. There you go. So anyway, let's leave it there in anticipation of next week's fantastic episode. Jim, do you want to tell us what's happening over at Hypnagoria?
Yes, I just dropped the traditional inappropriate Valentine's Day special
Yep.
for Commentary Club, which was the House That Dripped Blood.
Mm-hmm.
I also released a reading of H.P. Lovecraft short story Hypnos.
Mm-hmm.
And on the main show, I've been delving into some 1970s ghost books.
Nice. Lovely. Cool, and that's all over at hypnagoria.com.
It is indeed.
Lovely jubbly. Okay, and Elton, what about you, sir?
I recorded 2 episodes of Shonky last week.
Ooh.
So on the main feed at the moment is The Past's Future. So we are looking back at the kids of the 60s, looking towards the year 2000.
Nice.
If that makes any sense.
No. But
Yeah. And on the Patreon, which will be on the main feed and out in the wild very soon, I have Lee Harvey talking about nuclear war. And
Nice.
that is a jolly, jolly episode. Somehow we got around to talking about Haribo. So
Haribo.
Yep, that turns up.
Is this linked to the other one? Because I mean, are you guys sort of predicting that the World War III will be over Haribo supplies?
I'm not saying a word. No spoilers here.
I think is it something to do with the fact that the only things that will be left around will be cockroaches and Haribo?
And the 10 Fastics.
Or maybe Haribo eating cockroaches.
Oh, God.
Or even worse,
Don't
cockroach eating Haribo.
say.
Mutant gummy bears.
Oh God.
Oh.
Say it isn't. Say it isn't so. Say it. The horror.
Well, when it comes out, you'll have to listen to it.
Yes. Wicked. Juicy dangler right there. Anyway, Darren, are you on anything apart from the usual
No,
drugs?
not at all.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apart from the usual horse tranquilizers. No,
Brilliant.
not at all.
Okay. Fantastic. In which case, yes, as has been discussed, I'm not on anything now apart from this podcast. I'm barely on Facebook as it is. So, there you go. Cool. And, yes, do hit us up on the Facebook group for feedback and various other bits. There's loads of videos, trailers from that superb owl Yeah, and then you can also hit us up on the email for feedback as well. feedback@blackdoorpodcast.com. Right. Okay, we're gonna say goodnight now. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, El.
No problem.
And we'll see you all next week for Money Plane. Let's get ready to rumble. Oh yeah. Till next time, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
God, 10 years and you've only just grasped the format.
You two been rowing.
Sounds like you've been rowing.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.